night rolling into a ditch. The 23-year-old driver from Jamestown was rushed to a Fargo hospital with serious injuries. Her 19-year-old passenger also hurt, but not critically.
Police are charging the driver with DUI, driving under suspension, and possession of fentanyl, THC, and drug paraphernalia. The passenger is facing drug paraphernalia charges as well. Fargo City street crews are taking advantage of this week's warm weather to clear roads down to the concrete. Starting at 7:30 this morning, they're going to plow streets and avenues of snow and ice and will continue to do so all week.
Yeah, so just over 30 minutes away. Alleys will also need to be cleaned where possible. Public Works is asking you at home, though, to help the crews out by giving them space and getting those vehicles off the streets and avenues if possible. All right, we've been thinking about it all morning. How warm are we going to get? We're sending things on over to meteorologist Lisa Green for a check-in this morning. Hi, Lisa.
Good morning. Well, we just keep seeing those numbers rise here, and today it's going to be a very warm morning, our warmest yet, as we have been climbing our way out of the deep freeze we saw a week ago. And taking a look at the latest view outside, it's shaky on our camera right now in Grand Forks. We've got some strong wind that continues, and you see the flags moving there quite a bit at Home of Economy. And so that's an area where we're dealing with some of the stronger wind. Still, that's warm air moving into the region, and there's some moisture with that too. And in Grand Forks, the airport reporting some mist out there, a little bit of very light precipitation. The steady wind is 21 miles per hour out of the south-southwest, but gusts have been closer to that 30-mile-per-hour mark. So a breezy morning continues, especially in that area, and that has resulted in some fog too, thanks to that warm air moving over the colder snowpack. That air starts to cool down and it condenses into those cloud droplets at the surface, also known as fog here this morning. So that's what we're dealing with. Fargo's at 31 degrees, so just under freezing there. We're into some 20s in Devil's Lake and in Bemidji right now. A look at our visibility. Again, there is that fog that's taken over in Thief River Falls. We've got less than 2 miles visibility. Candu's at less than 2 miles. Not on our map here, but the Rolla area has been struggling more. We've had reports of a 1/4 mile visibility there, so dense fog affecting us. And then in the Southern Valley, Fargo's doing just fine at 10 miles currently at the airport, and we're at 3 in Valley City and in Oaks. So again, a foggy morning, only one spot experiencing dense fog right now. Radar satellite map looking quiet. It's not showing that mist or drizzle that we've been seeing in some spots, but it's out there. At least it's comfortable out at the bus stop. The kids might want their waterproof outer layer in those areas getting some mist, but temperatures are right around freezing, just under in a lot of places. This afternoon, heading home from the bus stop, will be into the upper 30s, so might get a little messy on some of those sidewalks with a little ponding and slush that might be developing with those warmer temperatures, and we'll kind of keep that melting process going during the daytime hours in your 11-day planner. The next several days we'll be seeing temperatures into the 30s, and then making our way into next week. You see those numbers behind me here. 40s coming up, not just for one day, but for several days as we transition into February. So that warm weather, it feels good now. It's going to get even warmer in the forecast.
It's all about perspective. I love how the 30s feel so warm.
I know. And you know what it's going to be? We're going to see people out and about in shorts, I think, next week with temperatures as warm as they'll be.
Oh, yeah. 45 shorts and rain boots?
Maybe. Yeah, you might want those because it's going to get a little messy with the melting that we're seeing.
Absolutely. Thank you, Lisa. A North Dakota judge is denying a temporary block on part of the state's revised abortion laws so that doctors can perform the procedure to save a patient's life or health. Judge Bruce Romanek says the request for a preliminary injunction is not appropriate, and the plaintiffs have presented no authority for the court to grant the specific relief requested.
The request asked the judge to bar the state from enforcing the law against physicians who use their good faith medical judgment to perform an abortion because of complications during an unsafe pregnancy. Fargo school board members voting no to give themselves a raise. They had proposed raising pay from $1,000 a month to $1,500.
The plan had received some negative feedback from taxpayers, but board members say the hike was designed more to help attract more candidates. Fargo school board members have not had a raise since 2009. North Dakota Congressman Kelly Armstrong says he wants to leave Washington and run for governor. The announcement comes the day after Governor Doug Burgum announced he's not going to seek a third term. Armstrong was first elected to the House in 2018 after serving 6 years in the state Senate.
North Dakota U.S. Senator Kevin Cramer says he is not interested in the governor's seat. He says he'll run for re-election this year. He was originally elected to the Senate in 2018, telling Politico that he wants to continue to accumulate his seniority in a second term in his office. The Minnesota Office of Cannabis Management now turning to the public for help with coming up for rules for cannabis businesses, all seeking to operate in Minnesota, like growers, manufacturers, and even retailers.
There's a survey to take on the department's website under Rulemaking Overview. The first one's due this Friday, with at least 2 more scheduled. The Minnesota DNR is announcing plans for the $150 million approved by state lawmakers for the Get Out More campaign.
The one-time funding is to ensure that people of all abilities and interests can enjoy the state's parks and trails. We have a breakdown of the amounts. $15 million will be spent on accessibility improvements, $9.4 million on roads, $8 million on hiking and paved trails, $2 million on signage, with $1 million on track chairs and other adaptive equipment.
Another $35 million will be spent on improving access to public land and outdoor recreational areas. The DNR will also spend $9.5 million on modernizing camping and other infrastructure, $60 million on the state's fish hatcheries, and $35 million to modernize boating access. Work on the first of the projects starts this spring and summer. Well, it's time to pick the winners. Voting is now open for this year's Name a Snowplow contest in Minnesota.
Woohoo!
Voting, I don't know, did you see the Aaron Burser? That one was cute. Voting goes through Sunday, with the top 8 being able to win a name for each MnDOT district.
Yeah, this is always a big hit. People submitting more than 8,000 ideas. The DOT whittling that down to a finalist list of 50. You can check them all out for yourself. You can vote at MnDOT.gov/nameasnowplow. The winners will be announced by the end of the month. We'll have them here as well. Sports fans are headed to War Road this week for Hockey Day in Minnesota, the city promoting where visitors can find some good food and some Hockey Day swag.
The 3-day outdoor hockey celebration starts tonight and is free and open to the public. In addition to all of the hockey games, there's also a skate path, sledding hill, and food trucks. It's a big hit for former Minnesota Twins catcher Joe Mauer. He's being inducted into the Baseball Hall of Fame this summer. He's considered one of the best catchers in the game and is the only catcher to win 3 batting titles.
He will be enshrined into the Hall of Fame on July 21st, making him the 4th St. Paul native to reach Cooperstown, following in the footsteps of Dave Winfield, Paul Molitor, and Jack Morris. A big congratulations to him. Thank you all so much for joining us here in the Valley today. We'll see you next time.